God's purpose for having prophets upon the earth is to relay his messages for the benefit and blessings of mankind by whatever means of space communication he elects to use.
This is so fun. How does somebody get through the weekend not being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? All of these people that say they're evidence-based thinkers, it's BS. Anybody that says they follow the science is full of crap, okay? And it just means they follow whatever the television told them to say.
Is prayer then interdimensional vibrational frequency communication with light beings from other planets?
Yes. This is so freaking rad. And if you're atheist, or even worse, like atheist TM, where you don't actually know things, but you say you're atheist, you know? How boring does it get? Meanwhile, we literally have an endorsement of prayer as a freaking form of space communication.
The guy figured out clickbait titles in 1972. And the Fermi Paradox says basically what Eldon Tanner is saying here is, where is everybody? Because if the universe is billions and billions of years old, statistically speaking, you have a number of planets that have the conditions the Earth has for life.
It's good to hear that science is catching up with Eldon Tanner from 1972. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Midnight Strike Through Mormons. I'm your host, Cardinellis, and I'm joined in the studio by Quaker L, Brad Whitbeck, and Luke Hansen, in charge of the Cougar Chronicle. And, you know, I hate to bring you this one, but it's too funny to pass up. Oftentimes people mistake us for other religions that we really don't have a lot of similarities in. Sometimes people think we're Jehovah's Witnesses, or they hear some kind of God makers nonsense, and so they call us Scientologists, and we're not Scientologists. But sometimes we really actually come across as such. One of these cases...
Good, we need to do that more.
Yeah, okay. One of these cases was in... the 1970s, when a certain general authority gave a talk called, I joke you not, Warnings from Outer Space. So in the theme of the show, we're going to lean into the meme and see if this guy actually was just a little bit crazy or if he was coming up with some good stuff. This gem, by the way, is brought to us by none other than Luke Hansen from the Cougar Chronicle.
Actually, from my dad.
From Luke Hansen's dad.
I've known about this talk for like 8 years because my dad apparently just likes to scroll through General Conference talks titles, and then when he thinks it's really funny, then he listens to it.
Well,
like 50 years ago.
Well, I have to find inspiration.
So I've listened to this talk in the car to my grandparents' house as like a 16-year-old.
Okay, well, I don't blame your dad, because I got to tell you, if I saw this title, Warnings from Outer Space,
you got to listen to it
on the official General Conference.
The guy figured out clickbait titles in 1972.
This,
what have we been doing for the past 50 years?
True prophet.
This is, yes, a seer of the Lord.
Wait, it's still online?
Yeah, it's on the official General Conference YouTube channel. Dude, yeah, this is pretty
It's not
epic.
Sim 70. This is Eldon Tanner right here.
Yeah, okay. So we've got a couple of timestamp videos here that Lou's going to show us. Which one should we start out with, my man? Well, first, give us a summary of this, and then we'll dive right in.
The summary?
Yeah,
I think our
gist
first clip introduces it pretty well.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then here we go. This is none other than the OG of 1960 something. What year was this again? You said
1972.
1972.
Nice.
The last year the Corvette was any good. Until recent times. Eldon Tanner, go. Oops.
Conditions in the world today have caused me to ponder over an editorial which I read recently. It states, a German astronomer believes that the Earth's young civilization is now approaching its first great crisis because of its newly found powers of self-destruction. And man's best hope of avoiding disaster is to listen hard for radioed advice coming from far out in starry space.
This is getting awesome. Tell me when to stop. We're literally being told to listen to advice from outer space.
He might have like another sentence, but
okay, here we go.
German scientists is saying, we have nukes now, so we need to listen to messages from outer space to see if there's more advanced civilizations that have figured this out and can give us some help to not kill ourselves.
This is awesome.
Out there somewhere, this scientist believes, is a wise old civilization that has survived many crises and is trying to warn the callow earth against the mistakes of its own youth.
We already talked
Whoa.
about this.
Yeah, this is super Graham Hancocky, but just in reverse.
No, remember the episode we did on the Vril Society
Yeah.
and the blonde woman who was getting all the information.
Maria Orsic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maria Orsic, and she was getting the communication from the Vril Ya from another planet.
Yeah.
She's German. These are Germans.
Oh.
This is only 20 years later.
Uh-huh. So in 1950, I think it was 1950 or in the 50s, there's this paradox that scientists, astronomers came up with called the Fermi Paradox. And the Fermi Paradox says basically what Eldon Tanner is saying here is, where is everybody? Because if the universe is billions and billions of years old, statistically speaking, you have a number of planets that have the conditions the Earth has for life.
Well, yeah, you have with an unlimited amount of planets,
Yeah.
there's an unlimited amount of possibilities. Therefore, one of those possibilities has to be life-sustaining planets that can emit light that we could see even a billion light years away.
So presuming life is able to exist, it doesn't require divine intervention like scientists like to say, we should have had a lot of civilizations way more advanced than us already.
Are you
and we
saying that
should
when
be
that-
able to receive probes, messages. We should maybe even be colonized by some of them, but we're not. So where is everybody? What's
So are
happening?
you
Who
suggesting
says
that
that we're not?
And this is one
Well, no,
possibility.
literally the science does. And this is one of the problems that Elon Musk brings up is all of these people that say they're evidence-based thinkers, it's BS. Anybody that says they follow the science is full of crap, okay? And it just means they follow whatever the television told them to say. And because the real science, the actual astronomers, okay, and the actual chemists, the actual biologists that know things are unfortunately intimately aware of the fact that we have zero evidence of any kind of life anywhere else in the universe. And if you study the math with an infinite amount of possibilities, there should be other life forms, but they're not. In fact, Elon Musk summed this up recently saying, where are the aliens? Like, where are they? And life cannot spring forth from non-life is one of the first laws of evolutionary biology. Therefore, you have to ask the question, if life cannot spring forth from non-life, from which can it spring? We know as an anthropomorphic God model. In Mormonism, it came from God. But anyway, it's good to hear that science is catching up with Eldon Tanner from 1972.
But the question is, how have people solved the Fermi Paradox?
Ooh.
Well, what do you guys think? What's the answer to the Fermi Paradox?
Repeat the Fermi Paradox in one sentence.
So the Fermi Paradox is, statistically speaking, we should have civilizations in the universe that are way older than ours, therefore be able to at least send message to us, let alone send probes and colonies to us. But we haven't seen it or received a single thing, not a wink. So where is everybody? Brad says maybe they actually are here. The government's either hiding it or they're keeping themselves hidden from us for some
reason. And I have
reason.
another idea. Have you ever seen those videos of like drones flying over small tribes that have still not been
and they shoot like
made contact
arrows
with?
at it and
yeah,
stuff.
they chuck arrows at it and everything.
Yeah.
What if that's us? We're one of these like small islands that is not involved with the rest of the society at large, and they're like, we don't want to step on their toes yet. They need to develop a little bit more before they can handle us showing up, and we don't want to destroy their culture by just showing up and being part of it.
It's like a benevolent.
So it's like
side.
Star Trek. Don't mess with cultures that are less advanced than you.
Yeah, that's one alien like
There's a more cynical answer.
non-religious answer.
And the more cynical answer is there's a number of barriers that it's very hard for life or civilizations to cross.
Okay.
And we have not yet approached a barrier that no other civilization has been able to get over before.
What?
So maybe every other civilization that's discovered nuclear weapons within a couple hundred years has wiped themselves out. And so that's why we've never been able to find anything, because they just kill themselves so quickly.
Yeah,
it might even take thousands of years, but eventually you wipe yourselves out completely and you don't survive your own advancement.
Yeah, the best explanation I've ever heard is that if supposedly, which this is such foolishness to think that all life that just happened to be an evolution of amino acids that decided to become living amoebas one day, that decided to become fish, that decided to become squirrels, that decided to become monkeys and became humans all of a sudden, okay? If that were true, okay, this is a process that takes a couple million years. However, when you're dealing with billions and trillions and quadrillions of years, that's really just a drop in the bucket. And once they become self-aware and can start having a Bronze Age and then having an Iron Age and then having, inventing gunpowder and then ultimately nuclear weapons and so on and so forth, they consume their own resources and kill themselves.
Reese's.
Yeah, and what's ironic is the social scientist that came up with this says, I doubt any life form can last longer than 2,000 years. And I thought that was interesting because that was the millennial amount that Jesus Christ said it would take for him to come back, right? So I was like, that's kind of interesting. So
So you've kind of slightly proposed one of the other things for the Fermi Paradox is that our civilization already has crossed the barrier that basically no other civilization can.
oh, what, feminism?
And namely, well, that might be, but the fact of life starting in the first place. So maybe it's just so hard for life to even begin to be created that like nobody's ever done it before except for us, or maybe something a couple million years back that their star already died and so they're not around anymore for us to find. But that's one of the answers. And then the other one is maybe in a couple hundred years we're coming up on the barrier that's been uncrossable for basically every civilization. And that's why we can't find any of them.
Wow, no wonder forgiveness is so important. It is an eternal principle. Okay, so
and Eldon Tanner is going to take a different route.
Okay, interesting. And by the way, would it be fair to say that this probably, if I remember correctly, like if you look at classic cinema and film, there was a huge burst in the late 60s and early 70s.
Well, yeah, because moon landing was 1969.
Yeah. So this is probably in a
July
cultural...
20th.
You mean the film studio was in 1969?
You mean the impossible to build vacuum chamber?
Oh, did you just get out one-liner,
no,
bro?
There's a lot going on.
Stanley Kubrick.
And you said what?
The moon landing.
The impossible to build vacuum
But I
chamber
think 2001: A
is what
Space
he said.
Odyssey was.
Oh yeah,
right
that's where they
around
filmed the moon
end.
landing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because
okay,
it didn't
okay.
happen.
Right.
Oh, okay. Rock on. Rock
You guys
on.
believe in the moon.
Yeah, you're not one of those flat earther. What is it called?
Well, I'm actually a firmament truther. Okay, you got to get
A firmament
your
truther,
conspiracies
okay.
right.
So
We live in
you're a
dome.
vacuum chamber truther.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We live in a dome. Okay.
No, I mean the moon landing in a vacuum chamber instead of on the moon.
Look, they're trying to find ways to make it sound more ridiculous than the moon, but the fact of the matter is they goofed and they filmed Apollo 11 going back to Earth. Who stayed behind to film it?
That's a good question.
They have never answered it. How did they call Richard Nixon on a 60s phone from the moon? BS.
I don't know. I got to tell you, man, there's just people. Society was more cohesive back then. We wouldn't get through union negotiations for that phone line nowadays.
What do you mean? It was the Cold War. Society was a nightmare.
No, but America was
talking
more
about?
unified. America was much more unified during the Cold War because we had a common enemy. It's just like
I don't think you've read the same history books I've read.
No. Well, here's a history stat for you that'll back it up, and then we'll go back to warnings from outer space. Did you know that the Empire State Building was erected in 88 days? Literally, 88 days, less than 3 months. We couldn't make the contract negotiations get through the state permit process in 88 days. Let
pour
alone
the
Oh my
foundation.
gosh.
let alone start building.
This is the answer to the Fermi Paradox. It's
Boom.
lawyers.
They bureaucrat themselves to
No,
death.
no, it's the bureaucrats.
Lawyers are
Predominantly
bureaucrats.
Yeah.
the boomer bureaucrats.
Interdimensional bureaucrats.
Answer the Fermi.
Interdimensional bureaucats. No, legitimately, that would be just hilarious. We'll find
Interdimensional
out.
bureaucrats and interplanetary red tape laws by the feminist Democrats have prevented us from understanding the
Lawyer government worker hybrids.
Actually, Ed, as the oldest guy in the room, do you think? What do you think?
Ed, use this mic.
You've experienced
Ed,
more
what do you
American
think,
history
bro?
than anybody else in here.
What do you think, bro?
I am ultra orthodox, but I love the way you go off in Crazyville because that is who you are, Crazyville. But the moon landing did indeed happen, and Stanley Kubrick did not film it on a soundstage here in Hollywood, only blocks from my house.
Look,
So-
I didn't know I was in a room with a bunch of globe cucks.
Yeah,
Okay.
a bunch of globo homos. You know, what did you call us?
A globe cuck.
No, but you said you're not part of the globo homo conspiracy.
What's the globo homo conspiracy?
You're the one that said it, and it was funny, and I remembered it.
That one's
Globo.
technically a different one.
Globo homo?
Yeah, you said like
That
it was
that one
like-
has to do with one world order stuff.
Oh, was I
Oh.
pretending to be Alex Jones?
Yeah,
I think
something. I just
probably.
remember you said globo homo, and it sounded really funny.
Globo.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty
Oh,
hilarious.
yeah.
Okay.
That unfortunately now you can't say anymore. Now it's become it used to be an ironic joke, and now it's a right wing, like a far right dog whistle.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. So, well, everything's a dog whistle once the left can't deal with it. So, anyway, back to warnings from outer space.
I think if aliens
We're not
actually came to attack,
Scientologists, I promise.
I think if aliens came to attack the Earth, Cardin would say, just Democrats.
Somebody grab a gun. This is why they invented the Second Amendment. They're trying to overthrow the country. You know what I'm saying?
Cut to Cardin on top of his house, firing at the spaceships as they come down and saying, "You alien betas!" Like, defending his property.
Exactly. Take that, Browning red hot lead, baby.
Yeah.
You know? All right. So back to, dude, we are 14 minutes in. And we've only played like 1 minute of Eldon Tanner's talk.
This is the other answer to the paradox. It's ADD. All the aliens just got ADD at some point, and they got distracted from exploring the galaxy.
Or maybe we're such an amazing and magnificent culture, and Christ was so divine in the gift that he gave us of the gospel that they're silently observing us and learning our ways to see how to build their own Zion. Either that, or else we are just so woefully simple that it's like watching bacteria in a petri dish. They just got bored and moved on. It's one of those two. I'm not sure. I prefer the former, not the latter. So anyway, and Eldon Tanner, are we done with the first clip? Let's go to the second clip, right? Here we go. And Eldon Tanner, hit us, my man. Hit us.
God's purpose for having prophets upon the earth is to relay his messages for the benefit and blessings of mankind by whatever means of space communication he elects to use.
That's
In his
basically it.
overruling providence.
I love it.
So that's the answer. We have received space communications
Wait, I want to listen to that one
to
again.
the prophets.
Hold up. That one was royal. He basically, literally, what, prayer is space communication now?
Well, it fits.
Like, I mean, it kind of is, yeah.
That kind of works, yeah.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear what he has to say.
Peace and goodwill toward men. God's purpose for having prophets upon the earth is to relay his messages for the benefit and blessings of mankind by whatever means of space communication he elects to use.
This,
In his overruling
I mean, when
providence.
they say apply the scriptures to your daily life, you know what I'm saying?
This is peak 70s likening the scriptures, yeah.
When Stanley Kubrick just finished making, wait, what year did 2001: A Space Odyssey come out?
Wasn't it 2001? It's in the title, dude.
No. The year is 2001 in the movie. You knew that, didn't you?
I did.
Okay. I was a little nervous. 1969?
Okay, yeah, I was about to say, I know it was in the late 60s.
So is that the same year as the moon landing?
I don't know. That's Quaker territory. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the moon landing never happened, so there is no year of the moon landing.
I
There's
see.
no
Well, it was
year.
during
1968 film.
I was about to say, it was during
Yeah.
the Kennedy administration. So,
92% Rotten Tomatoes.
okay. Anyway, we should ask that to ChatGPT because ChatGPT is going to establish what is truth and what is false within,
No, it's
you know,
demonic
next-
and evil.
Oh, you won't? Okay. Well, anyway, space communication. This is awesome. Like in the scriptures and the culture. You know, a lot of people say, does culture influence art? Does art influence culture? And there's really some symbiosis there. Does, culture influence religion? Does religion influence culture? Well, obviously, in this case, if we're talking about prayer as a form of space communication, there's definitely some kind of interplay.
Well, and
going
he's
on.
saying specifically to the prophets. So the prophets are like giant satellite things for humanity, basically.
Yeah.
But it's actually, in terms of the Fermi Paradox, this is exactly what he's saying. He's saying there is some sort of barrier that humanity might be coming up to that needs to be saved from because no other civilization can get through it without help. And God
And the
is
help
providing
is-
that.
The help
Yeah.
will come through the
And
prophets.
God is providing the thing that the civilization can't get over by itself through his space communications with us.
This is so fun. How does somebody get through the weekend not being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is so freaking rad. And if you're atheist or even worse, like atheist TM, where you don't actually know things, but you say you're atheist, how boring does it get? Meanwhile, we literally have an endorsement of prayer as a freaking form of space communication. That is so awesome. Okay, so
is
last
space interdimensional? Is prayer then interdimensional vibrational frequency communication with light beings from other planets.
Yes.
Well, in the talk, he says whatever method he wants. So it's yes.
Yes.
But sometimes maybe something else.
It could also be
Just
on the
plain
radio.
old radio waves.
Yep, could be the spoken word.
Also, nobody can explain the small force that keeps all of the atoms together. I believe that is the priesthood. And that's actually a deep dive that we can do. We can do in another
Been
podcast.
reading Skousen?
I firmly believe. No, this is actually a thought that I came up with while I was in college and I was a physics major. Like studying real science, not like, cloth masks in 2019 science.
Oh my
But
gosh.
the real stuff.
Gotta get that in there.
Yeah, I just had to get that one in there. But yeah, it's good stuff. Did Skousen come up with something similar?
We'd have to talk about it to get to the bottom of it, but it sounds along
that'd
a
be
similar
another
line. Yeah.
episode.
All right, go Skousen. I'm not a big Skousen fan. I know Glenn Beck is.
Well, he's Canadian, so
Mostly
he's
just because I've
awesome.
never read him. Okay, well, I'll take him off.
Skousen's kind of
Okay.
You would think that
a little weird.
not a Canadian.
Okay.
Kinda
Well, anyway,
weirdo.
here's the last one. We're coming up on a hard out here in 2 minutes.
His name was
so-
Cleon. How do you not end up weird?
Yeah, that's an awesome name. All right, so last
Yeah.
clip from Warnings from Outer Space by N, which is, I don't know,
Nathan Eldon Tanner.
Nathan Eldon Tanner. Okay, well, Quaker, here you go. He's your boy.
Better than radio or television communications have come personal messages without space capsule, plane, or rocket ship.
Here it is.
Man has a long way to go before he comes into the realm of inhabited Earth planets. Is he sneering? You can't see it if you're listening on the radio, but it looks kind of like he's sneering. That's kind of funny. Keep going. Yet there is such a thing as space communication. Man has spoken to God and received answers from him. Such messages have been coming for the benefit and blessing of the inhabitants of the earth for upward of 6,000 years.
Boom.
Dang.
Wow, is this it? We keep
Yeah,
going.
no, that's it.
Oh, I got to tell you, he's going to be a little bit. I think sometimes in our third dimensional state, it's difficult to conceptualize a fourth dimension, but there's actually scriptures that support this. We know that, for example, this earth will be restored to its paradisical glory, and that where is spirit prison, where is the other side of the veil, it is actually here, which would lead me to believe that the heavens and things like that, communicating with God, having visions and revelations, I believe is more of an interdimensional discipline, and that personal purity is something that prepares you for that interdimensional discipline. And that's also why every single person that ever saw God had to be translated, had to go through a form of physical distinction, if not elevation, from the three dimensions that we exist in now. And that would actually be a very interesting podcast to have a deep dive, if you will, when we start doing deep dives. But what do you guys think? Warnings from outer space. What's the warning? Did he tell us what the warning was after all?
No,
Luke?
he's saying that instead of looking for the warnings, we should be listening to them because we already have them.
Okay. Awesome. Well, this has been real and this has been fun. This is totally awesome. Any last thoughts before we jam?
Prayer is quantum entanglement.
Prayer is all right. Well,
That's awesome.
It's higher than speed of light communication.
This was great. Let us know what you
Oh
guys
my gosh.
think.
Uh-huh.
What?
The act of bringing your will in line with the Father's, that kind of works in a way with quantum entanglement. If you're just bringing yourself to be, because that's how the quantum teleportation sort of stuff works, is you bring
It's like
the
instantaneous between two molecules that can be however apart.
and the way that it works is they align with each other in the right way. It's just a funny wording that kind of fits.
No, that's great. So we promise we're 100% sane and rational, that we do not need a 5150. That's a big
promise.
And we'll catch you in the next program. This Midnight Strike Through Mormons. See you guys in the next program. Hey guys, this is Cardin Ellis. I'm the creator of Midnight Mormons. Thank you so much for watching this video. We know in an attention economy, you could be spending your time elsewhere, but you chose to spend it here with us. For that, we are grateful. Before you go to the next video, please make sure that you hit the like button. It tells the algorithms that you like our content, and it will hopefully recommend more content in the future. Also, if you can, subscribe to our channel. It's a great way to be alerted of more content we make. And if you press that bell icon next to the subscribe button, you'll be alerted on every video we make. We put a lot of hard work into these, and we want you to see all of our videos, so please subscribe. Also, if you would like to contribute, if you're feeling generous, please consider a contribution to the channel through Venmo. We also have contributions that you can give us through PayPal. There will be links in the description of this video to both of those platforms. If you're a giving person that prefers working through Amazon, we also have an Amazon wish list. Much of the equipment that you see in our studio was purchased through Amazon, and we're grateful if you could contribute that way. Also, somewhere around like here, I'd say, and somewhere around like right here is going to be a recommendation for more of our content that you might like. So please click on another video and we'll see you there. Either way, we're glad to have you here. Thanks for hanging out with us. This is Midnight Strike Through Mormons. We will see you in the next video.